All right, guys, what is up? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. And today I want to talk about the game modes that could be coming to launch, that could be coming post-launch. And some of them are very pretty much in your face that there's no doubt about it that they will eventually come, as well as some other new great ideas, because I do want to pitch in some good ideas because I have thought of some really banger ideas that I think would pretty much be a hell of a good time in XDefiant. And I want there to be at least a chance that the developers hear about it. And at the same time, with the blessing of YouTube and all the blessings that you guys have bestowed upon me, so to speak, with all the views that you've been kicking ass in and everything, and the likes and the tremendous support, which I'm extremely grateful for. Thank you very much to each and every one of you. I want to share it with you so that way I can get some feedback in terms of what you guys think. And so far, according to what I've seen in the comment section of my last video, you guys really you seem to like, at least for those of you that have commented anyway, have seemed to really like the concept of this streak system that I've proposed in the last one. So I guess you could say this is, even though I don't think I'm going to title this video the post-launch game mode proposition or anything like that, or who knows, I don't know. But I want to basically say what I think is legitimately going to come, especially since we've already been given a few hints here and there, and there's been some communication about it from both a ranked and a pub standpoint, as well as some very interesting game modes that I think that not only that I would love, but I think the community would love. And I've got the chills right now. I got the feel of excitement going through my body in order to share some of these with you, because ultimately, if a game mode is fun as hell to play, then that just makes things a lot more exciting for the game in general. So let's get into it. So now, obviously, when you describe XDefiant, what is XDefiant? It's really an arcade shooter at its core, right? The foundation, right? Which is very reminiscent of Call of Duty, but with its own twist. But another twist, though, is that it is a hero shooter as well, because you've got the abilities that are kind of reminiscent of what you see in Overwatch. But again, they've got their own specific type of ultimates, right? And then you've got a little bit of that Black Ops 4 specialist feel to it as well, with the equipment and the traits and stuff like that when you come to think about it. So it's taken aspects of other different games and has put it into their game, which at its core, at its foundation, is an arcade shooter, right? So therefore, why can't we take a few ideas and put a twist on those ideas from game modes in other games, as well as something that I originally thought of when doing a take one of this commentary. And we're doing a take two because the first commentary just lasted way too long, and I don't want to keep you guys here forever. You know, you guys have a life and all that kind of stuff, and your time is very important and valuable. But at the same time, I think we could cut it shorter without me over talking. So let's get right into it. Now, obviously, I also think that there might be some influence from COD Ghosts in terms of what we might get in the future in terms of game modes. So don't be surprised if you see something like that in the game come post-launch, because again, if you look at Hotshot, what is it? It's a combination of it's a hybrid of Cranked, Team Deathmatch, and Kill Confirmed all rolled into one. So don't be surprised if you see something like that in upcoming game modes that are going to be coming post-launch. Okay, so let's get right into it. Now, obviously, the first one that's obvious is eventually we're going to get a team deathmatch. There's absolutely no doubt about it. I've already said it till I'm blue in the face, but I'll say it one more time. Team deathmatch is the most popular game mode in pretty much every first-person shooter out there. Even ones that are not meant to have team deathmatch, like Overwatch, they have the option for you to go play team deathmatch. You go into the arcade section to where it says arcade, select team deathmatch. There you go. You're welcome. There's even free-for-all in there, for goodness sake. And speaking of free-for-all is another one that I believe is going to come eventually, right? It might not be called free-for-all, it just might be called something else, or who knows, it might be called free-for-all. But ultimately, you've got to appease the solo player too, right? Because there's players out there, as the developers know, as well as the community knows, that not everybody always wants to play together as a team or with teams, right? Or sometimes players will get frustrated because they're stuck with teammates that just can't help them very much to get the win. So like, you know what, I just want to play free-for-all. So eventually I think free-for-all is going to come in rotation, and then if it's popular enough, it's going to stay. And I hope it does, because we do need something for the solo player. I know that this game is designed around teamwork, but with that being said, it does have potential for solos as well. And I think it would be a lot of fun. I think there's plenty of room for free-for-all to share the love with the rest of the game modes. It's already been said that an S&D type of game mode is being in the works, and that's obviously going to be for competitive, but I think it might even be popular in pubs as well. Because one thing I've noticed in pubs is S&D is a popular game mode in Call of Duty, for instance, right? I don't play it personally. It's not my cup of tea, but I know a lot of people absolutely love it. So yeah, I think that's eventually going to come as well. And also, I got a little comment in the comments section that said, how come nobody talks about capture the flag anymore? And I'm like, you know what? Okay, let's mention it in my video. I'm also predicting that there might be a chance, at least on the competitive side, to get kind of a variation of capture the flag of some sort. Because in Call of Duty Ghosts, they didn't have capture the flag. They just had it to where one player had to make it to the other side of the team on the team spawn and go through the portal, right? And I keep on forgetting what the hell that game mode is called. I apologize. It keeps slipping my mind. But you guys get the deal. It's basically like capture the flag, but with eliminating the flag. You just have to go across and basically just make it through the portal. But that was COD Ghost, but I wouldn't be surprised if they had like some sort of variation of a capture the flag or something like that. You know, in the advanced movement games, we didn't have capture the flag. We had uplink, right? But for boots on the ground games, we usually stick to capture the flag. But again, this is not your typical boots on the ground game because it's also a hybrid hero shooter with the foundation of an arcade shooter in there. Okay, so I would say that there would be something like that coming on. Now, there are about 2 or 3 additional game modes that I thought of that I think would make a hell of a lot of fun in this game. So let's get right into it, so that way this commentary doesn't last too darn long for you guys. The first one is an original off the top of my head while I was recording the previous commentary, and I'm going to call this one Tug of War. Now I want you, now this is a team deathmatch variant, but so much better, that can go in so many ways, back and forth, you name it, right? Okay, now here's the way this works. Imagine you have this health bar on the top of the screen, right? Think of a fighting game health bar, but only one that's shared between both teams on both sides, right? And let's say in the middle, you've got this little ball or whatever, or, you know, whatever you want to call it, right? Or let's say the bar fills the more kills you get, right? And it goes towards your side, right? Now, however, when the opposing team gets a kill, they take away that little bit from that one kill that empties your side of the bar. And once one team gets their entire bar filled completely, they win the match or that round. I know it's kind of hard to understand. I'm trying to get you guys to picture, and I apologize, but it's kind of like tug of war. You know, you got to get those people to fall into the pit, so to speak, right? So eventually, what you need to do is you need to get everybody. You need to get like so many amount of kills in a row to where you're plus, you know, whatever the score limit may be, to where you actually finish the match or that round, right? And the only way you could do it is obviously by getting kills. And what this does is it makes it very interesting, because if you are a really good player and you're like basically carrying your team, right? You don't necessarily have to worry about a specific type of limit in terms of kills. All you got to worry about is to make sure that you stop the other team from getting their entire bar filled because they keep getting kills. So if you're getting more kills than some of the better players on that team, you're always going to be able to stop them, and they're not going to be able to fully fill up their bar because you're taking a piece of their bar away because you're getting more kills faster. So the only way that the team can get the win is by filling the bar up completely. Okay? So that is what makes it very interesting. And if they don't, even if they're really close, but they don't make it there by the time the time limit is over, guess what? It's a tie, because only the win counts, right? So, because the thing is, if we were going to give it to the other team, then it wouldn't matter, right? And I know that's a little bit controversial, but still, at the end of the day, you're doing your part, because when you look at your total kills because of what you're doing, and you know, your teammates and then the other guys and stuff like that, it's like, I think there's something that should be rewarded for that. You know, it's a really good way to reward that one player who always does the best but just cannot get that damn win. So with this game, what this allows you to do in this team deathmatch variation, which I'm just calling tug of war, is it allows that player to basically stop the other team from winning because of the fact that they haven't accumulated enough kills to move to completely fill their bar by the end of the time limit. So therefore they shouldn't win the round, or they shouldn't win the match, because they haven't filled the bar, which is what the objective is. Get enough kills, enough and fast enough to fill your bar, which again, it decentivizes camping, because the faster you're able to get kills, the more you fill that bar. And then if your team is getting killed a lot, it's like, okay, holy crap, I gotta get points, and I gotta get them fast enough in order to stop their bar from filling so fast, right? So I think tug of war would be a hell of a lot of fun in terms of a team deathmatch variation. So yeah, that was the first one. I really want to know your opinions on that, guys. I know it might be a little bit hard to understand, but I hope I explained it well enough. And please forgive me if I'm not as transparent as I possibly can be. I'm running on 3 hours of sleep, and I worked for 12 hours before coming home to record this, so I apologize. But anyway, moving on to the next one. Now, as I mentioned earlier on in the video, XDefiant has obviously taken influences from a multitude of other games, right? So why can't we take a piece of, and please, before you hate on this, please hear me out all the way before you judge, please. There's a competitive game mode, there's a competitive game mode. Now, this is not limited to just competitive, because the twist of this is going to be a whole lot of different and a whole lot of fun. So please hear me out. There's a competitive game mode in Halo called Oddball. Now, in Oddball, what the person does is there's a ball in the form of a skull, or you can make it whatever you want. It spawns in the middle of the map. And the team basically one of the players has to go and pick up that ball. And basically, once you pick up the ball, you're playing keep away from the other team. So if you drop the ball by getting killed, or if you just drop the ball by dropping the ball, your scoring stops, right? And you have to get to like 250, right? Which is 1 point per second in order for you to win that round. Now, the twist to this with XDefiant would be that even the ball carrier would be allowed to use their weapons. Now, because they're the ball carrier, not only are they scoring for the team, but the balance is that they can be seen, just like in Halo, they can be seen where they are on the map, right? But this gives that one player that has the ball not only the opportunity to defend themselves, right? But it provides a completely different form of strategy, because it's like, okay, who do we want that person holding the ball? Or if you have the ball, right, because your teams aren't able to get there, whatever the deal is, like it really, and if you're a good slayer at the same time, you could be playing the objective and slaying people and keeping that ball alive in your possession and getting points for your team while being that slayer. And at the same time, it also incentivizes the other teammates, whether they're slayers or not, to defend you from anybody that's trying to get there, right? So that is very interesting. And another thing that I'm proposing is, obviously for competitive, you would have to have a respawn timer, right? And whatever that time would be is up to the developers. But for pubs, I propose no respawn timer, like instant respawns. So that way that person, right? Let's say you're a good player, you've got the ball, you're able to slay and stay alive, but your teammates are dying left and right, and you've only got a certain amount of time before every other player on the other team comes to ambush you and eventually kill you, right? Well, let's say you manage to stay alive a little bit longer because there's no spawn delay. A few of your teammates are able to come in back into the action and save it just before the other team is able to capture your ball, which is a lot less likely to happen in Halo, right? Because again, spawn delay, the way the game works, in Halo, the ball carrier is not allowed to use their gun unless they drop the ball, which would stop the scoring. And then obviously they have to use their gun and then pick up the ball again. You guys know how that works. So with XDefiant, if the player is allowed to use to fire their gun still, despite the fact that they have possession, would make things very interesting, wouldn't it? Especially in a pub perspective. And in a competitive perspective, the only thing you have to change is you add a respawn timer. That's it. That's it. And I think it would be a hell of a lot of fun. And as I've mentioned before, either in this commentary or in the one that I did previously, which obviously probably you guys don't know about because this is probably not the one I'm going to post. I'm going to post this one, is that, again, all objective-based game modes all have one thing in common. And that is the fact that there's an element of team deathmatch in every single one of them, right? So those are two game modes right there that I've come up with. And then obviously the third game mode is kind of taking something from what we've got that I thought of when I was actually playing the open beta or sometime after the open beta. And that is, you guys know how you spawn. And as I said, Mark Rubin created COD Ghost, so don't be surprised if there's yet another influence from COD Ghost in this game. And again, Hotshot is cranked team deathmatch and kill confirmed all into one. Well, what if we made it to where you, upon getting a kill, you become the hotshot, and then eventually, once you die, once you get a kill, you get the abilities of a hotshot, but I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. You spawn in with the ability to run around like crazy, like a hotshot. When you die, it gets taken away up until you get a kill again, right? And I think it would be very interesting in terms of making it to where, and I just thought of this part. Whoever gets the, like, when you get kills as a hot shot, that is where your score basically, no, I'm going to do a twist. When you're not a hot shot because you've gotten killed, but you kill a hot shot, right? You get double the score. You kill any normal other guy who's lost their ability to be like hot shot cranked, you get regular score. But upon getting a kill, you get your abilities back. And then obviously when you're a hot shot, you just end up getting kills. But if you kill a hot shot, you get double the points. So anyway, that one was kind of just like a hybrid thing, and I've kind of added a twist to it because, again, this is just this is me coming up with things. But anyway, in order to keep myself from going too much on a tangent, too much under control, let me know what you guys think of Tug of War, and let me know what you guys think of an oddball twist, or they can call it keep away for XDefiant for all I care. What do you guys think about that from both a competitive standpoint as well as a game mode? A public game mode standpoint. What do you guys think of that? Does that sound like fun to you? What do you think? And what other game modes are you excited to see in the future? Obviously, some of the other game modes are a lot more traditional in terms of what I mentioned, but it's pretty obvious that they're going to come in. And Bare Bones is eventually going to come in as well. There's just no doubt about that because you got all these faction abilities, and I'm sure that there is enough players out there that would like something to where it's like, okay, let's just focus on, a playlist to where there are no factions. We could play, team deathmatch, domination, hotshot without any factions. I think that would be very interesting, but who knows? Maybe they'll go for it, maybe not. But let me know down in the comment section what you guys think of all these game modes. I personally would be excited as hell for a game like Tug of War or an oddball hybrid, so to speak. Keep away for XDefiant. Let me know what you guys think. Anyway, with that being said, thank you so very much for the continuous support and for the time that you guys have given me to watch these videos. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.